Hello, my name is Dr. Carolyn T. Long, and I'm a therapist, minister, author, and consultant. And I want to talk to you briefly about the healing one needs to go through once they have been in a divorce or a failed relationship. The title of this video is Recovery from Divorce, Indicators of Recovery, because it is important that one kind of knows, when am I at a place that I can move forward after they have exited a former relationship. Divorce is a major life loss that must be grieved. Though many do not take the time to grieve, it is imperative that one takes the time to grieve so that they can heal and be prepared for future relationships. The word recovery means a number of things, but one of the meanings of recovery is to grow well again. And the word grow well, or the word process, or the word recovery suggests that it's a process. So it is not something that happens overnight. You may have been through a divorce, and maybe you have broken up from a long-term relationship. You are hurting and you need time to heal. There are 6 things that are important for you to know if you are in either one of those categories, divorce or recently failed relationship. Number 1, you do need to know what I've already stated, and that divorce is a major life loss to be grieved. Secondly, it is not an event, but it is a process, and process suggests time. Number 3, time alone will not heal the wounds that you have incurred during the process of your relationship. And when I say time, I know I've heard that saying most of my life, that time heals all wounds. And I had to grow in wisdom myself to come to the realization to say, that's not absolutely true. Because if I do nothing to better myself after I have been in a divorce or a failed relationship, then I'm just taking me a little older, but not necessarily much wiser, into another relationship. So it's something I must do during that time in order for me to heal. Number 4, a new rebound relationship is not the answer if you're coming out of a divorce or a failed relationship. Number 5, it is imperative that if you have children, that not only do you allow yourself to grieve and get the support and help that you need to grieve, but you also allow your children to grieve the loss of their former family. And taking it even a step further, not just children, but your family, your extended family, your church family likewise needs to have a time to adjust to the changes in your life as they themselves are impacted by the changes that are going on in your life. And number 6, knowing how God feels about you is so important during this time. You need to know that divorce is not the unforgivable sin, and that there's not a thing that you can do to make God love you any more or to love you any less. There's nothing you can do to separate yourself from God's love. And it's very important that you know that at this time in your life. You might ask, how will I know when I have recovered from the pain of my relationship such that I'm able to move forward? Here are some things to look for. Number 1, you need to recognize and accept that the marriage or the relationship is over. It's gone. It's done with. Number 2, you need to be able to return to your healthy patterns of eating and sleeping, because I'm sure that maybe at the breakup of the relationship, that was all turned upside down for a little while. Number 3, you need to establish new routines that does not include the former person who was in your life. This is for you and for your children. Number 4, You need to treat your ex with respect and civility. And that is going to be especially important if you have children. But even if you don't have children, then it's going to be important that you treat your ex with civility and respect. And that means that you probably will need to forgive that individual for what he or she did or did not do, or maybe said or did not say, so that you can do that. The next thing you need to do is to renew your sense of energy and personal well-being. You need to develop a mindset of being released or relieved from your ex. You may still think about your ex, and certainly if you have been in a long-term relationship. I work with people who have been married 50 years and then divorced. So there's no way that they are going to forget each other, or she's going to forget that he was in her life for 50 years and that he is the father of her children, her grandchildren, and her great-grandchildren. But she should not be preoccupied with thoughts of him if she is recovered. Another thing that you need to be able to do is to enjoy life again, but remain open to more change in your life. Next, you need to make new and healthy relationships with men and with women. And if that's something that maybe you know little about, then avail yourself to the numerous books on the market today about what constitutes a healthy relationship, or what constitutes an emotionally destructive relationship. Certainly, if you know what constitutes an emotionally destructive relationship, you know to choose the other. You need to stop blaming your ex and take full responsibility for your contribution to the failure of that marriage or that relationship. You need to organize and plan again for you and for your children and for your life ahead. You need to become comfortable with the way things are now. This is your new reality, and you need to become comfortable with your new reality. You need to be aware that you don't really get over grief, but that you do come to accept that this is my new reality. As I've mentioned, you won't forget that person, but a preoccupation with that person suggests that maybe you're still not yet recovered. You need to know and accept the new parts of yourself that were discovered during your growth process. Now, when we're in a healing and a growth process, we get to know ourselves in a different way. And that's why it is so important that we take this time, because hopefully, though it may have been a negative experience, which is why you're no longer with that person, hopefully you gain something positive from that relationship. And that what was positive, you're able to keep it and to integrate it into your life and use it to move forward. I need you to be kind and gentle with yourself without any excuses or explanations to others. I've already suggested that forgiveness is absolutely necessary in order for you to move forward. And I want you to understand that forgiveness is one thing, and it's something that you do because you need to be at peace in your heart. And reconciliation is a different activity, and it requires two people. So keep in mind, forgiveness requires one, reconciliation requires two. So it will be important that you walk in daily forgiveness towards your ex, because when you've been in a failed relationship or divorce, there are things that will continue to come up that will invite you to be angry, to be upset, such as, visitation of the children, the child support check comes late or it doesn't come at all, or the alimony check is cut short, or just an upsetting phone call from the ex. Any number of things can give you an invitation to walk into that angry, unforgiving place again. So you have to make up in your mind that no matter what he or she does or does not do, that I am going to walk in forgiveness toward him or toward her. Lastly, you need to individualize people and not to come away from this relationship thinking that all men are bad or all women are bad, but that in that relationship that failed for you, it just meant that you and he or you and she did not get along, but that you will individualize people, which will open up your heart for a new healthy relationship with someone else in the future. Additionally, if you have recovered, then you have come to the place that you can say no to any discount relationships. And maybe that's a new word. But discount and rebound are two words that you don't want in your relationships. While you are in the healing process, you definitely don't want to get involved in another relationship. And if you are fully recovered, then you will be able to say no to the discount relationships. Lastly, and most importantly, is developing a fresh and renewed relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ and allowing him to be first placed in your life. If you're struggling and you realize that, I thought I had recovered, but maybe now I realize I'm not, then there is hope, there is help, and there is healing. Give us a call. We would love to serve you. And thank you for listening.